Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with a video on how long is eternal. Well, maybe not as long as you might think. It is from round 9 of the 2021 US Women's Championship played on Saturday, October 16th in the game between Grandmaster Irina Krush with white against Women Grandmaster Katerina Nemcova behind the black pieces. Nemcova played the Dutch defense for the first time in her life to try and surprise her opponent. The experiment did not go very well, and in this position after 36 knight e5, white has a very good position. Material is equal, but that pawn on a6 is a monster. On move 37, Irina Krush pushed that pawn to a7, only one square removed from coronation. Knight c6 to try and control that pawn, and now Krush has a nice combination. She wins the pawn on d5 with rook takes d5, rook takes and rook takes. And you cannot recapture on d5 because then the pawn becomes a queen. White wins. So after rook takes d5, white has won a pawn, and that pawn on a7 is still alive. Rook a8, you have to try and win that pawn. But then rook c5 was Krush's 40th move, attacking the knight. If you play a move like knight e7, then there is rook c7 and white is totally dominating. So Nemcova decided to take off that pawn on a7, but she must have felt what was coming. Rook a5, pinning the knight, and that is an eternal pin, which means there is no way for black to get out of that pin. King h6, and let's have a listen to the live broadcast of the St. Louis Chess Club YouTube channel.
Look at this. She did play rook c5. I'll show you the moment, right?
Moment, yeah.
Right here, she played rook c5, knight takes a7, rook a5 with the eternal pin, king h6. And now the point is, if you try to get your bishop out so that you can play the killing bishop d5, your opponent said, I can even let you play this move, but why not just attack you immediately and break the pin? And what did Irina do here? The beautiful, the sweet. Rook a6. One rook tying down an entire army. You can't push this. You can't push this. You can't move this. You can't move this. And now you can't move your king because here comes the bishop.
At last, yeah.
And with the threat of bishop, that's going to be a check. That's going to be a check. And where do you put your king now?
To go back.
As bishop F. Wait, but there's also a bishop F7 laughing at you as nothing in your position can move, and you're going to lose everybody while this pin is still in effect. You might lose all these buttons on this side. Amazing win. Rook a6. That's a boss.
Before I made the queen trade, right here, like I calculated this line with a6, and then I saw that I was going to be able to have that pin. And of course, I really liked this idea because it's not every day you get this dominating kind of pin in a simple position. And and I knew this position was winning. In fact, it's even more easily winning than I thought because I even have the strong bishop c4, bishop a2 idea. And black is just like in total zugzwang, and I just wait until she moves away from f7, and I can even go for that.
So rook a6 was played by Krush. The white rook is dominating the whole board. The knight is in an eternal pin and cannot move. The rook cannot move. The pawns cannot move without being lost. And playing the king to the 7th rank also leads to trouble for black. Nemcova is in total zugzwang. It's important to note that instead of rook a6, you cannot play bishop c4 with the intention bishop d5, attacking the rook in the corner, and that would win material for white, because there is rook c8, counter-attacking the bishop, and in this case the eternal pin did not last very long. You take the knight, black takes the bishop and is out of trouble. Rook a6, a real grandmaster move. King g7, there's nothing else, and now bishop c4 is possible. Because after rook c8, which was played in the game, now rook takes a7 is check, so black does not have time to take the bishop. King f6, rook a6 check, king g7 and bishop b5. And Nemcova played on for another 22 moves, trying to avoid the inevitable, but Krush showed good technique to win this position with an extra piece. Did she really have to give up that piece? Let's go back for a moment to bishop c4. Instead of rook c8, she could have played king h6, wait and suffer, because then there is bishop f7 attacking the g6 pawn, but after king g7 you have an elegant switch back to d5, attacking the rook, rook d8, and rook takes a7 is check again, so black does not have time to take the piece. Beautiful endgame technique from the 8x women's US champion. And then there's this position from the open section. Grandmaster Lazaro Brusson with white against Grandmaster Jeffrey Chong behind the black pieces. Black is a pawn up and played 47 rook h6 here and is going to attack white's king. But can white not take a pawn? This pawn on b5, restoring the material balance and get counterplay. In the live broadcast, Grandmaster Maurice Ashley gave this position as a puzzle to his co-commentators Grandmasters Sarwan and Kirilla. Let's listen.
I mean, black has a fantastic sequence to refute the capture of the pawn on b5. How does black do it? Black has a great next two moves. I'll give you you'll get the first move. I'm going to take on b5, and then your second move, and that's going to be the game.
You will take on b5.
I'll take on b5. I'm telling you, I'm telegraphing.
Well, he played rook h6.
Did he play rook h6?
He just played rook h6.
He spoiled it. Jeff, why'd you guys look at his move? Okay, don't look anymore. Don't look anymore. Don't look anymore.
My board gets auto-updated. It wasn't like we were ready for it. Rook h6.
Look over here.
Rook b5.
Look at you guys.
Cheaters. Rook h6. Queen to e2. So that's simple. And if we trade, king f1, d3. Yeah, we got mate. King g1, d2, and that's game over. And then we've got the mate back again.
Yeah, unfortunately it's too easy.
We were hoping that you would finally present a challenge for us, Maurice.
This is a bad move.
We're very disappointed.
Wait, what? It was a terrible move.
No.
You're busy bragging about how easy it is. Just simply takes and drop the king back. And what did you do to your opposition? Where's the win?
Oh,
where's the beat? Where's the win?
F1. Yeah, I don't know. King G1, I guess a more natural move. Yeah, we were looking at the.
Yes, failed again.
Pause a rush. All right.
Foiled again.
Queen H8 is the move.
Really?
Queen H8 is the move.
Oh, you think you're getting a second chance, huh? Well,
Queen
you're
H8
right.
is the
Queen
move.
H8 is the spectacular money move, allowing rook takes with
King
check,
F8.
and then you just calmly move your king to f8, and rook h2, and devastation is coming. If your queen shifts, then this rook is coming down as well.
So let's look at it in slow motion. Rook takes d5 was played by Brusson, and if you now play queen e2 check, which was the first instinct of the grandmasters, then white equalizes with queen takes e2, rook takes e2 check, and not king f1, because then there is d3, and black wins. There's a checkmate threat on h1, and if you play king g1, then the d pawn comes to d2, and black wins then as well. But after rook takes e2 check, you don't go to f1, you go to g1. And after d3, you play rook d5, and black is okay. So let's go back. After rook takes b5, queen e2 check is not a solution, and then Grandmaster Kirilla found the right move. Queen h8, what a beautiful move. A backward move of the queen into the corner. And now black is winning. It's actually a forced checkmate. Let's look at the game. Rook takes g5 check. Yes, white can take a pawn with check, but is still totally lost. The king just goes to f8 and is safe there. What is the threat? Let's make a silly move for white, a6. Then we see the checkmate on the board. Rook h2 check, king f1, another check, and checkmate. So after king f8, you have to deal with that. g4 was Brusson's move, trying to escape with the king that way. Rook h2 check came anyway. King g3. If you go to f1 instead, then you get checkmated this way. And after king g3, rook h3 check was played by Jeffrey Chong. You can go to f4, but you get checkmated there as well. Queen f6 check, rook f5, queen d6 check. If you play king g5, then queen h6 is checkmate. If you play rook e5 instead, then queen takes e5 is checkmate. So let's go back. We had rook h3 check. We just looked at king r4, and now we look at the move from the game. King g2, queen h4, and Bruzon resigned. It is checkmate in a few moves. For example, queen takes d4, queen g3 check, king f1, and checkmate. On g1, a beautiful attack with the heavy pieces by Grandmaster Jeffrey Chung. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you like the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.